Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and we're going to compare the speed of the iPhone 7 Plus to the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Both of these are their latest from their manufacturer, and Apple is using the A10 processor that they make, which is a quad-core processor that has 2 fast cores and 2 more power-efficient cores. On the S8 Plus side, we're using Samsung's partner, or Qualcomm Snapdragon's processor, which is actually an octa-core, and it's the Snapdragon 835, and it also has some power-saving cores. Now what we'll do is we'll compare the fingerprint reader, some benchmarks, we'll load some things in the browsers, and then we'll also run some games and see how quickly they load as well, and then check out how quickly we can switch between apps. So let's start with the fingerprint sensors. We'll lock both of these. And this one is on the back. You can see here's the 7 Plus with its dual camera and the S8 Plus. And this one's on the back, so you only have to touch this one, and this one you have to push and touch. So I'll try and touch this on the back on the count of 3, and we'll see the screen light up. So 1, 2, 3. And both of them come on quickly. This one was more animated. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. And they're both ready to use basically at the same time. One has an animation, one just turns on. So they're both pretty similar there, and most fingerprint readers are that quick today as well. Now what I did is I ran 3 different benchmarks. I ran Geekbench 4, Antutu, and 3D Mark, all on the device and all while closing all apps. So you'll see there's no recently used apps. Here I've closed all apps as well, and I ran each one of these. Now these results varied depending on which one you use, but the first one I ran was Geekbench. And you'll see it was run, if I go to history here, you'll see this was run today. And again, if I go to history, this one was run today as well. Let me go to the full-size screen so you can see what I did is I ran those and then I took a screenshot of each. So let's go into that. Here are the results that I came across. So you'll see this is Android 7 and this is iOS 10.3.2. And you'll see that this is 3511 for the single core and 1774 for the single core on the S8 Plus. On the multi-core score, you'll see 5678 and 5994. Now there is an Exynos processor as well available for this device, the S8 Plus, but it's not available readily in the United States. So this is actually a local branded phone. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is the iPhone seems to be winning quite a bit in the single core, and in the multi-core it gets closer. But if we switch over to Antutu, again, you'll see that the iPhone 7 Plus has a larger score than the S8 Plus. But if we go into each one of these, you'll see that the 3D marks on the S8 Plus are actually a little bit better at 62,000 versus 52,000. But all of the other scores for CPU and RAM and things like that are better on the iPhone 7 Plus. Now let's move over to 3D Mark, where it's a little bit different story than we have on this one. So again, we'll go to benchmarks, or my device here, and here we'll go to my device. And this doesn't know what the device is, but it's telling you what the device is here as far as that goes. It doesn't know it's an S8 Plus, but here you'll see that it's $32.99 for the score and $18.39 here. So it's pretty good results. Let me go to the actual screenshot where it gives a little bit more information. Now with 3D Mark, you'll see that the S8 Plus scored tremendously better than the iPhone 7 Plus. And that's probably due to its multiple cores, and this has to do with gaming. So $18.39 versus $32.99. So it's a pretty big leap as far as scores go. But that's not really real-world use when you're using both of them. So both of them feel fast and fluid most of the time. There's really no hiccups, anything like that. So I thought we'd open the browsers. Here I have Chrome, and here I have Safari. Again, I'm using Google stock apps and Google Now Launcher. So let's go ahead and open both of those. And you'll see I have Google on both of them. And I thought we'd go to the manufacturer website. So we'll go to Apple, then we'll go to Samsung, and we'll see how they do. So we'll go to Apple here and Samsung. And we're on the same Wi-Fi network, and signals can affect this, but it should be pretty similar. So depending on how they render, they pop up at similar speeds. So let's see, we can scroll here. Scrolling is faster on the S8 Plus. Pinch to zoom should work fine on both. Both are super fast anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. Let's try out Samsung. And here it is. And there we go. So again, depending on which one you hit, within a millisecond or two, or maybe half a second or less, you're going to get similar results when it comes to actually using the web browser on both of these. Again, we'll click another link. This time the S8 Plus was a little bit slower, but that may be because this was loaded before. But either way, I did load it earlier on this, but let's go to one more where I haven't loaded. Again, we get similar results, but they're so close within one another. If you're using this as your daily driver, you're not going to have any issues as far as that goes. So the next thing, let's close the apps again. So I'm going to load Mario Run. They both have not been run on the device anytime recently. You'll see both are closed. There's no apps or anything like that. So let's go back home, and in 3, 2, 1, they both load pretty quickly. The 7 Plus was ready before. And here it's a setup. But again, I wanted to actually not run the game. I wanted to see how quickly it ran. Let's get Asphalt 8 installed, finished here, and then we'll try that one. Now I have all the games ready to test. I didn't have Cut the Rope on here before, so I thought we'd test that as well. And Asphalt 8 is installed on both. Neither have any apps open, as you can see here. And I've never loaded Asphalt 8 on either of the devices, so I'm not really sure which one will do better. So in 3, 2, 1, we'll see what happens here as far as loading. We'll get to a playable state, and you'll see they're kind of loading at different rates here. I guess accept. So both of them are at their load screen, and that's pretty much it. They're going through their little demo here, and that's it. So let's go back home. We'll close this out, close this out, and you'll see the rotation seems to be handled a little bit better on the S8 Plus. Let's try Cut the Rope. 3, 2, 1. And that loaded a little bit quicker here on the S8 Plus. We'll just do this, I guess. And they're both running smoothly. And now we're at a playable state. So they both seem to be identical as far as the playing of them, but this one loaded a little bit quicker. So that's it as far as this game goes. Let's do one more thing here where we open Safari and Chrome, and we'll go back to those Samsung websites, and let's switch back to the games and see how quickly this handles it. So on the iPhone, you double press the home button. Here you just hit this button and tap. But the Samsung, you can kind of go a little bit quicker because you can double tap this button and switch back. Here we have to go like this. But each one of them handles them pretty well as far as going back and forth. I've got the phones propped up on the LG G6 box so that we can actually see a little bit of depth and when the camera's open. So let's close them out. We'll close everything out here we might have open. And let's go into the camera in 3, 2, 1. And they came up at about the same time. Now if we go back home, we'll go back to the camera in 3, 2, 1. They're ready in just about the same time. In the few tests that I've run here, I've seen that the S8 Plus occasionally will be a little bit slower. But within a millisecond or 500 milliseconds, something like that, half a second, we'll see the actual difference. There's not a huge difference as to when they're ready, and that's really what we care about here with both of these devices. So that's pretty much it as far as the test between the two devices. I wanted to show what it's like to actually use a couple different apps, the benchmarks, which don't necessarily reflect the speed of the device. Sometimes this might be a little bit slower in one area, the iPhone might be a little bit slower in another area, but when it comes to real-world tasks, they're going to be just about the same, and it really depends on what you do from day to day. Let me know how your experience has been with the S8 or S8 Plus or the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus in the comments below. Which one do you prefer and why? If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.